I'm going to start by measuring the wall to install the bar first of all, because when I installed the previous one, I had to put it on the ceiling, since it's very likely to find a beam around here. So, to avoid damaging the wallpaper later, what I'm going to do is make the holes first. More or less where the rod is going to go, well, not more or less exactly where the rod is going to go, and then put up the wallpaper. Look how beautiful the accessories are, and I really love the rod. To get the measurement right, we first need to put on the finial, so let's do that. The screws that come with it are these here. Let's say they don't have a head on either side, they're just screws, right? So can we screw it in like this? Notice that this is how it's going to look on the wall later, the way the grain patterns show up like this, it's really cool. Now we'll do the same with the other side. Done, now we have both of them. Okay, before placing anything, I'm going to try it with the curtain and I'll explain why. And it turns out that this little piece here, of course, hits the wall and there's extra curtain left over there, so I'm going to see how it looks visually with the curtain. Otherwise, I'd cut the rod. Gather it to one side. Yes, I think I'm going to cut the rod.
These 10 or 12 centimeters that are here.
On that side, it looks a little strange. It's disproportionate. Of course, if we had all the margin on the other side, if the door were more centered, it would be fine. Since it's so close to the wall, it's best to cut it. All of this, as I mentioned, we're doing before putting up the wallpaper. Basically because if we later find a beam, we'll have to make the holes again and the wallpaper would get damaged. So we're going to measure it first and make sure everything is right. We've been pretty lucky this time since we didn't hit the beam. Last time we put up the curtain, we hit every beam, at least the one that went across.
In the dining room too.
And in the dining room too, so we've been really lucky. We already have this ready to put up the wallpaper and then the curtain, and over here I have the wallpaper that I'm going to put up. Look how beautiful it is. I can show you. It's already open because I've already opened one of the rolls. It's gorgeous. It has a bamboo-like pattern that I love. It adds a touch of color without being too overwhelming. And I want the style of the bedroom to be very much in line with the Balinese Japandi style that I'm giving to the apartment. First, we'll cut the paper to size, apply the glue, and stick it on. What I'm thinking is that we're going to start from here and go that way so that the rough cut, so to speak, ends up in that corner. I'm going to cut it a little longer than the exact measurement so I can perfect it with the cutter once it's glued on. We're going to make a straight line to cut a piece of paper, and then we'll do the same for the next strip we cut. Then it will have the perfect line, so it's at the same height as the next one. We've cut a little bit here and a little bit along the wall. We were just finishing cutting it right now, basically to leave less margin so it's not so hard to stick it on. And then we'll cut right along the line, but we'll do that once it's completely dry, otherwise it could break. I'll install the wall brackets. I tried to cut the paper here, but it's not dry yet, so we'll wait a little longer. If not, then tomorrow, there's no rush. Now here, on this part of the support, we'll put two little screws, and over here we have the little curtain we're going to put up, which isn't open yet. I opened it earlier to do some checks and so on. I love this curtain because it's translucent, it lets the sunlight in, but it covers enough so that nothing can be seen. Let's say since it faces the terrace, I think it's perfect for that bedroom. It's very important when we buy a curtain to wash it before hemming it, basically because it could shrink a little. Since there's a chance it might get smaller, we wash it, and once it's washed, we take the measurement and then hem it. Now that we have everything here in the middle, let's take it off from this side and the little curtain. The model is Cambria and it measures 140 by 280. Notice what I'm telling you about the light. It covers enough to hide you from the outside, but it lets the light in perfectly. I really like the combination between the curtain and the bamboo effect on the wall. It's a beautiful mix of textures. And now we're going to fix the bottom, and for that I have this. This here is a tape that when you iron it makes the hem of the curtain. That means we put it on, iron it, and then we can set the curtain at whatever height we want. I think it's a great invention. I found it in the curtain section at Leroy Merlin. Let's take the measurement that we need to cut. Now we'll put on this thing I showed you, which is basically to hold the hem without needing to sew. But first, to make it easier for me, what I'm going to do is fold it and iron it 1.5 centimeters from the entire base. And that way, once I have this ironed, it will be easier for me to make the hem like this. Now we have everything ironed. Now let's get the tape. We're going to open it. If you notice, this tape is double. This one here and this one here. We're going to remove this one, and this is the one we're going to stick. We're going to place it here. Let's take off a little more, put it like this, fold it, and we're going to iron it. Notice that it stays completely attached. It makes a perfect hem. It almost looks like it's sewn. It's important to ensure it falls to the right length and doesn't go over, being neither too long nor too short. We would have it like this. I'm gonna give it a second pass with the iron and then we'll hang it up. But look how nice the bottom looks. It almost looks sewn. I think it's an amazing invention. Before cutting the other one, let's check how this one turned out. And look how nicely it lines up with the floor without dragging and just perfect. And now I'm going to show you one of the crown jewels, which is the lamp we're going to install. Well, lamp fan. Here we have the fan we're going to install, which is also a lamp. It really matches the wallpaper, the colors are very similar, and besides, I love the style. Now we'll assemble it so you can see it better. It's silent. Importantly, it uses very little power. It offers summer and winter modes. Spinning blades one way for summer and the opposite for winter. And well, now when we assemble it, you'll see it and I'll explain it to you in more detail. We have unscrewed the old lamp. We're going to remove it from the light and we're going to install the new one. We already have everything nicely set up and now all we need is our beautiful fan so it looks perfect with the rest of the bedroom. Chanan, 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 ah. How beautiful. Come on, let's try it. Wow, how cool. Oh, what a nice breeze. I have to say that this bedroom is the hottest room in the whole house because it gets sunlight all day long. In fact, that's why it was placed in this bedroom. You can feel the breeze now, right?
You can feel it, you can feel it.
Yeah, you can feel it all the way here, even in the dining room. Well, we've done a big part of the work in the bedroom that we had planned. And now we're going to work on the headboard and I'll explain what I'm going to do. It turns out that, as you know, I was doing a bit of wood carving. I was fascinated, I loved it, and I also bought the tools so I could practice here at home. I'd love to make this headboard from carved wood, but I think it would take me about 3 or 4 years at my pace, and with the time I have, it would take me many years. So what am I going to do? Well, basically, if the mountain won't come to Muhammad, Muhammad will go to the mountain. If I can't do it inward, I'm going to do the wood outward. And you might say, I don't know exactly what you're referring to, so it's better if I show you. Ta-da! Look what I have here. It's basically a raised stencil, meaning I've applied a product to make it raised, and I've added a bit of paint in a blended way. I'm going to explain how I created this effect, and we'll go step by step to make a carved headboard without actually carving. I call it carving just to put it that way. But what we're really doing here is bringing the design out so the wood stays underneath, right? And that gives it that carved effect to create an even more carved look. We could sand it and create a bit of a gradient or bring the design out a little more, but let's take it step by step. What did I use to do this? This part here that's so sturdy? Because look, I hit it hard with my hand and I'm more likely to hurt myself before it breaks. Even if we put a cloth over it, hit it with a pillow or anything like that, we won't be able to get it out. Basically, for this example and what I'm going to use for the whole headboard is this right here, which is a wood filler putty, meaning I took this putty, placed a stencil and filled in that stencil. I removed it before it dried and then it looks just like you've seen. Later, when it's dry, it's completely dry after 24 hours. All I do is take a small sponge or any accessory really. And I started applying it like this basically so that everything doesn't look too painted, but just the surface part gets a little color, and then we achieve this effect here, which is another stencil I made to try out several. I already have these stencils and I'm deciding whether to make them myself or use a pre-made one. And this would be kind of the idea of my so-called carved wood. Another option, if you don't want to get too involved with the putty and all that, would basically be to paint it. We take the stencil and paint it. Once we've sanded the headboard, then we would go ahead and place the stencil. In my case, I really like the carved effect and all that. I would love to be able to do it, but I don't have the time. So we're going to look for this alternative. I've chosen a wood filler basically to create the relief because these fillers are used to repair furniture and things like that. You can give it about 1 centimeter of thickness, you can screw, nail and so on. So it's super tough, super resistant. Of course, it's meant for fixing furniture, so it has to be strong. First, I'm going to sand it with an 80 grit sandpaper, and then we'll go down from there. But since we have to remove all this shine, we need to start strong. We're going to remove this little metal trim that's basically screwed in from the back. I've mentioned before that this headboard has been passed from hand to hand. It was my mother's boss's who then gave it to her. My mother wasn't going to use it because it wasn't the size of her bed, so she asked me if I wanted it here for the apartment. And the truth is, I like it. It's a headboard that I like, but I think it could be much more modern or fit more with the style that I like. It's good wood, it's heavy, and you can tell it's high quality, so we definitely had to make use of it. By giving it a quick makeover, we can make it look brand new without having to buy another one. Look at the beautiful natural wood color this headboard has hidden under the varnish. We just got back from our morning workout and my mom is behind the door, about to see the progress in the room. She hasn't seen anything yet.
Good morning, here we are waiting to see. What a surprise Chrissy has for me. Let's see.
Let's see what you think. Wow.
Wow, whoa. I never imagined the fan would be like this. Wow, it's so beautiful.
That's amazing, huh?
That's amazing, right? Wow, look how beautiful it is. The paper, it had to in the end. Why?
My mom wanted me to put it there.
On the front with the headboard. It looks good here too, right? The paper wasn't hard to come up with, was it? This wallpaper is really pretty, huh?
It's really pretty.
Beautiful. I love how the curtains match the color and the wallpaper looks amazing. I won't say more until it's done. It must be spectacular in the end.
And after the little walk, I'm going to continue. Okay, let's continue with the headboard because we have to finish it today. Well, at least get it sanded. Yesterday I went to Leroy Merlin and bought the paint stripper. Because that way we can go a little faster when sanding, since this lacquer on the wood is quite resistant because it's the one that comes from the factory, right? So let's say to go a little faster so we don't spend so much time sanding a pretty thick layer of paint stripper. But first we need to sand a little, then we apply the paint stripper, wait and remove it with a spatula. Alright, and after a few hours, this is already sanded and right now it looks this color because I wiped it with a cloth to clean it. Here it's already drying and now I'm going to use a fine sandpaper because it's rough right now. In the end, the sandpapers we used were quite coarse with a rough grit, so now we'll use a fine sandpaper. Alright, let's begin with the stencils. I've measured the center a bit high and also across the width. I'm going to start it from the top. Let's say I'm going to make something like a flower here. I've tried several ways and the easiest option to apply it is with the spatula. So I'm going to apply it with the spatula. Perfect, it looks super cute. I'm cutting out some of the stencils to make it easier for me and so I don't mess up the previous one. This is how the little drawing is turning out. I followed the line right here. My father used to say I should make it symmetrical, meaning this same side on the other side. But I like a symmetry, so I'm going to make it asymmetrical.
Not me.
He liked it more symmetrical, but well, since there are so many tastes, now I'm going to continue with this one and the next flowers, so we'll do the same around. Let's go for the next little flower. Actually, if we can't find a template we like, we could always make one ourselves with foam rubber. I'll now repeat the little flower drawing on this side. I'm using ready-to-use putty because since you need to have the same texture all the time and you have to work quickly, in this case it's better if it's ready to use. With this putty we can make it up to 1 centimeter thick, but we're not actually going to reach 1 centimeter. As long as some texture is visible, that's fine. It already looks good. Look at how this is turning out. It looks beautiful. Now I'm starting to have doubts because I have a stencil to put all around the edge, but I think I really like it just like this. I mean, when everything is painted white and we add a little touch of color, it's going to look really cool. I'm not sure if it will stand out, since leaving this empty might make the inside more noticeable. I'm not sure. The plan was to put this across the headboard like this.
It will look too busy, won't it?
Maybe it will be too much. Well, and now we have it all set up really. We've put everything on it, and in the end I decided not to put anything around the edge because I think it will look better that way. And now we have to wait for it to dry completely before applying the varnish and the paint, so we'll just wait a few hours and then continue. Well, the day for sanding has arrived. It's completely dry now. All the putty we applied has dried completely, and now it's time to sand and paint. But I'm going to tell you something, a little trick that I forgot yesterday. Yesterday I couldn't wait, I had to paint this little part to see how it would look. Honestly, it looks amazing. You have to sand it before painting, but I just painted a little bit to see how it would turn out. But anyway, here's the little trick. And the thing is, when we sand the wood, it becomes smooth if we use a fine grit sandpaper. But it gets even smoother if we rub it with cardboard, for example, this one from a toilet paper roll. You can really tell the difference between rubbing it with the cardboard and not doing it. So, since I forgot to rub it over the whole headboard, I'm going to use it for this entire perimeter. Notice the difference between this flower and the one here. One has been sanded and the other hasn't. The contrast is clear. It's not just the color, which is whiter and will be painted later, but also because this part feels much rougher by touch, while this one is already smooth. So it creates more of a carved effect once sanded. It's not totally perfect since it's supposed to be carved wood, so it has to look like this with some imperfections in the wood. Well, we've got it now. And if you notice, I can clean over it perfectly without the cloth getting caught. This is important, especially since headboards and other items collect dust. If it's embossed, even more so, then we can clean it perfectly with a cloth without any problem. And now what I have here is paint diluted with water, and I'm going to apply it with this here, which is a little sponge. Now that it's painted, we'll let it dry completely before applying the varnish. Once that's done, we'll put it in place and see how it looks. I'm really excited to see it finished. Right, Dad?
Yes.
And now, to finish the headboard, I'm going to apply this here, which is basically a white satin varnish. So we're going to apply it to the whole headboard and give it that white, worn look that we love so much. If you notice, what the varnish does is lighten the wood, but it still lets the grain show through. So it looks much prettier because the wood turns whitish, but you can still clearly see the texture of the white flowers. Now it's really done, and we're going to wait for it to dry completely before placing it. Look, this satin shine it has looks beautiful. Wow.
Beautiful.
And after adding a couple of little details, this would be the final result. My father is going to take care of the outlets and the boxes. Actually, we're going to change all of these. This way, the bathroom area will be really well coordinated. There are a lot of shades like this, kind of beige, so it's going to look amazing. And we're going to use the same one for all the bedrooms and all the rooms, and we're going to start with the ceiling molding. We still have it here, but it's a bit ruined since we tried to remove a cornice. This cornice, besides looking pretty ugly, had several little holes and was in pretty bad shape, and over there wasn't any. Because we had to install new cables and everything, so we had to find a way to cover it up. And the solution we found was to make a recessed area, which is done with drywall, to make a sort of box that lights up and at the same time provides indirect lighting and leaves it looking really cool. It also allows us to cover up some of the imperfections, whether it's the pipes, the molding, or the 4 loose electrical wires that are around there. Let's start with this wall here, since all the furniture is on this one and I still have to decide on the furniture situation. I've already decided, but I'll explain later. Everything's written down, so let's begin. And one good thing about already having the cornice is that we can follow the same line as the cornice. So now we have a straight line. Otherwise, we'd need a laser level and draw a straight line to place the rods, but this way, it's already done. We save ourselves some work. My father already has the hole here. The idea is to put this one here on the ceiling, which will be, let's say, attached to the ceiling, okay? I'm putting it here so it stays in place. This one is going to go on the wall. It's going to go like this on the wall. So here I'm going to put a plasterboard plate that will already have another piece of metal attached, placed just like this one, but the other way around. So when I put this plate, which I'll fasten here, I'll have this bottom part to be able to attach another one that sticks out, and that way I'll make the recess. That is, the plate with the metal will stay here. I'll have this here. We'll make some connection points so it stays more secure, and then we'll screw the base in here. Then it will look like a square in these spots, one sticking out. First, we make the holes in the metal, and then, using the holes we already have in the metal as a reference, we'll make them in the wall. That's why we need multiple drills. Let's go. Placement of the next iron piece after the one we've installed. We could put up the wall one now and finish that section. What do you think? Should we put up the wall one or do the whole run? Okay, let's do it. For this part, I'm going to need the laser level. If you notice, I put it here to keep the line straight, since we don't have a cornice here. My father is already quickly installing the new switch box in the dining room. We're going to have several ways to turn the dining room lights on and off. One is here and the other is over there. Okay, we just have these little holes left here and need to put that piece over there in place, and then we'll move on to the next step. I have a sample right here, and this is going to go, let me see how I can show it with one hand. This is going to be attached here, and underneath it's going to be joined with a small metal piece for greater stability. But let's say this is going to stay like this drawer like this, and then there will be another one underneath. The idea is that this will now go up to the ceiling. And so here it needs to have a little profile, which I think I'll put on before installing it. I'm going to use this to measure the profiles, but before putting it in place, let me see if I can explain. I'm actually going to install it. Take the measurement here right to the millimeter, so it marks the height of this panel for me because I've cut it, but it's a little long. If it's not the right size, it won't fit later. So I'm going to screw this one in, and through this one, I'm going to put this one here, I'll use as reinforcement. This is what I was telling you about. In the video, they included it, but in another video with a different system, so I'll use it as a mix. Now we'll start screwing and taking measurements. I'll place this small piece of iron horizontally up there. It will set the height for the next one. I planned to cut this with scissors, but we ended up using the grinder since it was extremely hard. Just so you get a bit of an idea of how it would go, this goes like this. This profile I'm adding now will already be attached to the panel. So I'm not going to put this one in first. Instead, I'm going to put the panel here on this profile. And then I'll put this here directly, and this will act as a joint, like a reinforcement. The thing is, we're going through all this hassle because it's the first structure we're building. In theory, for the next ones, once we have this measurement, it should be enough. Oh, I don't think this is going to work for me, huh? Actually, they sell it for people who install drywall. Well, and for anyone who wants it, really. Like a kind of little machine that you run along and it peels the drywall like this. But just for this structure, I didn't want to buy it. I didn't think it was necessary. So I have to be precise. What I want is right here on the floor, Mom. Now we have to cut this little piece, which is nothing, just a tiny bit. But oh well. We're putting these little metal rods in, let's say, but they're broken. Just to make use of leftover pieces I have, that's all. Honestly, I would have put it in whole, but I had to cut it to fit in the car. So you can get a bit of an idea of how it's turning out. It would look something like this. The plan. This union piece is the extra one and it's held at the top, and then both of them will be held at the bottom. And this extra piece will add a bit of reinforcement. And this part here is split, as I mentioned. To make use of these little scraps, since it's not necessary to have one long strip, I use them so nothing goes to waste. The next step, once we have all of this in place, would be this one here, which we're going to demonstrate for you now. This would go right there. Yes, that's a 20, it has to be a 30, yes. And then you have to make this little step so it doesn't look like that, and then underneath it will be closed. I mean, it will be like the drawer, so to speak. Somehow it will screw in exactly, and also in the reinforcement and wherever the reinforcement is. We'll need to mark it or we won't know where it falls. Do you know where we can mark it now? We put a mark on the top part, yes, of course, and that way we know where it falls. To make it easier for me to screw in, I make the little hole outside and then I screw it in with the hole already there, because otherwise, at that height, it's much more complicated. Let's go for the second round. This room isn't done yet, but the one at the end is finished except for the boxes. And it turns out that here it went through. Well, yes, it went through all of them, but right here were the panels we put up, the ones with those cool shapes, which now I don't know where they've gone. Well, we put it up in the last video before we went on vacation, but it has fallen down a little bit here. And I said, look, you know what? We're going to take them down because now they were in my way when I was trying to put this up. Remember, sometimes what we install now can prevent us from adding things later. So we took them down, we'll give the wall a brush and everything, we'll finish the niche, and then we'll put them back up again.
What's happening? Hey,
Hello?
I just arrived and they're making me work already, without even offering coffee.
Wow, well, welcome to the club.
Look at this. What a wonderful new outlet. These are the ones I was telling you about. They're from Nisan, and they're exactly very similar in color to the kitchen. Look at it from this angle. It's so cool. We haven't changed it yet, but I'll record it for you. How to change it, step by step, how to change an outlet in this case, right? To give it a more modern look. These aren't very old. We changed them recently, but they're so pretty and the color matches perfectly. Look at how it looks from here. The whole set is much more discreet. This used to stand out too much, now it blends in much better with the kitchen design. They look elegant and well integrated. I also like this small detail. Have you noticed it? The whole side has this kind of metallic, metal-like finish. We're using Nisan for all the outlets and switches. And look, yes, there are a lot of color options, and that's what I liked, especially because look at the color. The way it looks with the kitchen, it looks amazing. That small detail, the way it shines from here, sometimes reflecting light off the metal, looks really cool. Now the trim would go on, right? But we've been thinking that maybe if we put the trim, it's gonna make it much harder for us to get inside to do the finishing with the drywall putty. So we'll do the finishing first and then put on the trim. We've brought this drywall panel because this is what we're going to put on the bottom part. Let's say we've almost finished everything. The whole perimeter with the putty, but we still have one left to do, so we have to go buy more putty. So just so you understand me, this is going to go on top right in the corner, and here there's going to be a trim that will make it look hidden, right? As if this were a single piece. And here the LED strip will go here a little further back, and this will go right up against the top part. It'll look like this, not exactly one or the other. These are just two examples. But now we're going to glue that little piece.
The tip is the metallic part.
Yes, I said it. So as I was telling you, this is the little piece we just cut. We're going to glue it here. And if you look closely, there's a little bit of an edge, let's say, around the perimeter, and this will be finished off. The whole corner will be finished. If you look over there, we ran out of putty and couldn't apply it. It's already finished and here now. We bought it yesterday afternoon. We'll start with that section. We'll make a small groove for the LED strip to go in, running all the way up. It turns out that yesterday in one of the stores I found this, which is perfect for me. Let's see what it says. Felt protector. And it's good because they're made of polyvinyl chloride. They're not those typical ones they usually sell, like the fabric ones, and they're pretty good, like they cushion well. And I want it for the sofa because since it's kind of old, it leaves a bit of rust, and since of course the floor is new, I wouldn't want it to get damaged. My mom says the other ones are made of felt. The thing is, I bought these for the sofa and I think they're just the right size. Look, yes, perfect. So I'm going to put this on since it has the adhesive. We'll lift it up, and I'm doing all of this because my dad has the ladder. Well, now I've just finished putting them all on. I was doing it with the big trowel, but now I'm trying to apply the product with the small one and then perfect it with the big one. Otherwise, it's impossible to do it directly with the big one on the ceiling. Careful, look at how much putty we have left. If you followed the project from the start, you might wonder how it's possible since we already smoothed the ceiling. Why are we giving it another coat? The thing is, there's a part that's smooth and another part where we had to tear down several walls and it's ended up uneven. So what we're fixing are these uneven walls, especially the part up there. I used the sander, but it needed more work. Now it's smooth. The problem is that it didn't end up level, so now I have to add an extra layer of putty or mortar to level it out and make sure that little step isn't noticeable. Anyway, that's how it is.
We're afraid that the LED light will reveal all the defects in the ceiling because you know that once the light is indirect, it makes all the flaws visible. So we want to make it as perfect as possible.
Well, we've just come back from lunch. We ate out today because it's a bit of a special day. Well, it's not like we had a fancy meal or anything since we're dressed for work, so we just went to a place that's close by. And the thing is, we're going to continue. Actually, the next step would be to sand everything, but since it's not completely dry, what we're going to do is put on the trim pieces and then sand as best we can. We don't have much choice. It's either do that or we can't continue, so we have to manage however we can.
First ceiling panel, let's see how it looks.
This is the test one, just a little trial.
Any help we receive is welcome.
We are locating the iron because we made a mark and everything, but well, actually it's another option, right? And it would be with that magnet, we locate the iron and then we put the screw there. The truth is that when it's in place, it's not that hard to put in the screws because you can apply force from underneath. The other way is a bit more complicated, but you see, we locate it and then we put in the screw. This is how it looks. We've already put in one row and now we need to do the next one. It's resisting a little bit, but anyway, I'll explain the problems we've had. Look how this is turning out. We already have everything over here, 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 and there, and we're just missing this little piece right here.
I don't want to see it anymore.
I'm looking forward to it too. We didn't put it here because he fixed it this morning, and I'm waiting for it to dry before sanding and applying a second coat. Well, we'll leave this for tomorrow, but let's finish putting on these little trims. Imagine how this will look with the light on. You can already see it coming together. Amazing. It looks great today. What do you think, Mom?
Wonderful.
Spectacular, spectacular. Not too much, not too much. And this part here is facing outwards. That's why there's nothing placed on this piece. These are today's progress. Over here, over there. Tomorrow we'll continue with the same thing. Well, no, we need to explain something, what my father has done. We have to go to the hardware store, the boxes are already made, we just need to put on the final touches, right? And in the bathroom, I'm going to show you how the new ones look. They look amazing. Well, actually here, Shanana. Oops, it was the other one. Oh damn, there's no light. I really should have... Hey, look how it turned out, it's beautiful. This one and the one below, that toothbrush is for cleaning, okay? We're not using it and we keep this one here and this one like this. And look how well it blends into the bathroom, which is super cool with the stone and everything, and this one with the indirect lighting. And this one down here, I can't show you more because the furniture blocks it, but look how beautiful it was. It looks much prettier than in white because it matches really well with the stone. We're making space over here, moving this from there, taking it over there. We also found several things on the small terrace or balcony. And we have to make space to put up the drywall panels, not just the ones that go here in the recessed area, but also for when I build the structure, the whole structure for the television. So it's better to leave it more or less oriented now, so later we can put up the whole structure and the panels without anything getting in the way. Finally, the last panel, this little piece that's left over there, and it's the last bit. We'll try it. I haven't tried it yet. See if it fits.
It has to fit now.
We left that little piece. Perfect, right? Oh, wow, what an eye, what an eye, what an eye. We left that little bit. Because like I said, it was a bit hard for us because the wall wasn't straight at all. So we adjusted until we left a little piece. This other mistake we made was not putting iron in the whole structure, but instead we just put it in some leftover pieces here and there. And I think we should have done this differently. I mean, put iron everywhere. Because since we didn't know exactly where the partitions were going to go, for example, yes, we didn't know where the partitions were going to go. For example, this one landed there without iron, so with the next one, we can't attach the iron and it floats. So we should have put it everywhere. We didn't think it was going to be something that would affect us when installing it because we also thought we weren't going to put your kids everywhere. Since you don't know where the panels will end up, if we'd considered it from the start, we would have begun installing the panels from there to here. When you're in a hurry, you sometimes miss things. If we had put it on all of them, it's our first time doing this. Next time we do it much better, or maybe not. I don't know. It depends on the wall, it depends on how the wall was. And well, that's how it ended up being trenched. Well, it's not finished. Of course, there are still a lot of little things missing, more like finishing touches, but look, how is this looking?
We just arrived at the apartment and look what has arrived right at the moment we got here. It was, well, not even a coincidence.
Oh please, it's so beautiful, I just can't. I wasn't going to record, but I thought record it because we're going to turn it on and see it live.
I wonder if you can guess what it is. Now that it's on, maybe you'll figure it out.
Oh, how beautiful, seeing it in the light. Oh, how cool.
It's quite realistic.
It's super authentic, it's really pretty, huh? Well, I'll explain it to you tomorrow. I just wanted you to see her.
We'll talk about it another day, Christina. The point is that it works well.
Let's start clearing this area here, which is our workspace, and it's all full of stuff. The rug that got burned, well, that they burned. I never showed it, but regarding the hole, they asked why I didn't just flip it over. See the hole? You can stick your finger through it. What I can do is cut it and get 2 rugs out of this, cut it right here, right through this little hole that's more or less in the middle, and I'd have 2 rugs, but oh well.
Put a vase on top and you won't even notice.
Oh, I don't know. We've marked the middle of the fireplace, the middle of the television, just to make sure it's centered. One key factor is height, since you need to see the television properly when sitting on the couch. And at this height, I think it would be just right, even though it will make the fireplace a little closer to the television. If we raise this and keep the same margin, a hand's width, that's a lot. We just need to lift this part here. We were talking about the width, because if at first the width of this television structure was going to be 30, why was it going to be 30? Because we made the recess 30, so it was going to fit inside the recess. But after thinking about it a lot, if you notice, this fireplace is meant to be attached to the wall. You can attach it to the wall or to a structure you build. But attaching it to the wall means a lot less structure, less work. And there's also less risk that it could get hit and fall, since it will be attached directly to the wall. So what we're gonna do is make it as wide as the chimney, which is about 14 or 16 approximately. That's the width we're going to give to the whole structure. We've discussed solutions, and making it 16, roughly the width of the small one, would solve it. We're going to add an extension, and then the trenching can continue over the top. We'll be able to fix that part there, and it won't look ugly here.
Previously, trenching would have placed LEDs here and here. This up to the ceiling, and now we've thought it's better to do it all the way to the ceiling. But the back part and this trenching would continue here, so there would also be light above the fireplace.
Exactly. And for those reasons, we've changed the design a little bit. Well, actually, we haven't changed the design. It's just that instead of being 30, it's going to be 16, which is half. Chimneys need to breathe, because even though this one breathes from the top, it also does from the back. That's why these hangers they've put on have left a small gap so it can breathe from the back, so there's no problem. We've reviewed the instructions and hung it on the wall. Let's start by taking measurements. Did you expect me to say coffee?
Well, yes, we're going to take about 5 minutes.
We just removed the baseboard, and right now the alarm. What happened is that I had to stop the camera because I got a call from the alarm company saying there was a sabotage, and I had to take the calls and deal with this sabotage. But actually you have to call so they can remove the little device for you, and then you do it yourself. But since everything was so rushed, I didn't have time. Once this is out, we can start measuring and setting up the structure. But wouldn't you like to have a little coffee first, Yvonne?
Man, I wouldn't say no.
And a little toast, right? Just like when we were in Menorca. That little piece goes down because now I'm going to explain to you. Notice that the one on the bottom, we cut it at the same time as we were cutting the side one, and that's because these down here, I won't make a hole in the floor since it was hard to install, looks great, and if I remove the structure later, there would be a hole left. So we're going to stick it with double-sided tape. That's why, to make it sturdier, we'll also attach it to the wall.
It stays in place and this part will be glued.
Let's make the next structure, and that way we can see how it's turning out. Once both are leveled, let's measure how much the bottom one is. For this one here, don't put it on the outside. We're making a cut in the one on the floor so we can fit it inside. And this one here goes outward. Notice that this is already starting to take shape. I don't know if you can see it well, but it's already looking like this. We haven't fastened anything yet, but we're taking all the measurements so we can fasten everything at once later. The chimney measures 45.5. I know I told you before, we're going to put the chimney on the wall, so why would we build a structure underneath it? Well, we've been thinking about it and we're going to put it on the wall. Since a covering will be added later, we included a few extra centimeters for it. We don't know exactly how much we need to add because I'm still not sure exactly what kind of covering it's going to be. Although I have an idea, I also don't know its measurements. So we're going to leave a small margin and we'll make up for that margin with the new structure we're going to build. Later, we need to add screws so the chimney sticks out slightly. I don't want it to be just floating, so the idea is for it to be attached somewhere. To give it complete security, is it really necessary? No, but just to be 100% sure, we do it this way. We're a little bit down right now, and it's because we need channels. And here where we are, there's no place that sells them because they don't sell any plasterboard structures. So we'd have to go to some towns further back, take the car. And we're gonna lose a lot of time. I don't even know what time it is anymore. It's just that we're not making any progress. We're not moving forward. Well, it's been 5 hours since we left this morning and we already have the channels here. It was tough because we had to travel far into the middle of nowhere to buy them since they weren't available anywhere nearby. So we finally have them. It's 5 in the afternoon. We can almost combine the after lunch coffee with the afternoon coffee. Because we ate at a fast food place and we spent about 2 hours in line. So well, let's pick up where we left off.
Nothing fast about it.
As I mentioned, with the remaining light, I'll show you. And on the bottom part, we're not gonna make holes in the floor because we don't wanna damage it. So for that, we're gonna use double-sided tape precisely for this reason. As I explained, this part sticks out, faces outward, and connects to the vertical piece. I'm just going to put this double-sided tape on it. To make sure that this won't move at all. The one we've attached with tape, we're going to add some cross pieces to put pressure against the wall. It's getting really dark, you can barely see now. We're going to put this one, which is the one that goes here, but on top, let's say, we're going to put it like this, all the way at the top so that we can put the studs in. It's the first time we've assembled this kind of structure, so if there's any little mistake, well, I did the kitchen niche. Well, I've also worked with drywall, but I did my grandmother's fireplace and that's it. No, I don't remember what else. There's something, but I don't recall. But still, it's the first structure. We've been stuck here for a little while with the measurements, and it's because we have to take the measurements of the television and the fireplace. We already have the television because we had to make sure it was centered since I don't know when the television got off center. It was off center by a centimeter, so we centered it again. To attach the metal piece to the wall, leave a gap for the plasterboard panel. 1 200 plus 2 equals 3 200. The light suddenly came on, and that's because Ivan had a wonderful idea. Great mind, great talent, right? As they say. The thing is, we've already left the gap. 1 200 plus 2 for the margin. And on the other side, the same thing. Let's say that if this comes through here and the panel is going to come here, we're going to leave this as a gap, not this. I think that's good because if you have to put something in, at least you can fit a finger in and open it, right? This, if you notice, is what I was explaining to you. The drywall is going to be attached here, so if the television is this line right here, we're going to have a small margin to be able to put our hand in and move it. If necessary, have a small margin, let's say, to be able to access the back. We've left about 2 centimeters. Ivan, high five. What we're doing now is taking out all the screws, pushing the anchor further in, and then screwing it back in. All right, basic structure's done. We're amazed. We arrived at 5 and by 7 in the evening we've already finished. The one against the wall was our main concern since tomorrow is Sunday. And what happens on Sundays, Ivan?
You can't make noise. So we started drilling here and that's it.
And we've done the whole structure. It didn't take us long. We expected it to be harder. It's not difficult. The challenge is taking precise measurements and ensuring everything, especially the television is centered. That's the hardest part. The rest is just drilling holes and screwing, drilling holes and screwing. And now we still need the external one, which is the one that goes on the outside. Let's say this little piece here so the chimney can rest on it, but we think that'll be easy.
You're talking to the expert who built the kitchen niche.
Ivan ran into every possible problem with the niche, so...
It's a piece of cake. It'll be ready tomorrow.
We're now continuing with assembling the outside structure, as I mentioned yesterday. I go and buy a tripod for my phone and it doesn't record vertically, so I have to put some tape here to attach it. It's crazy the things you have to do just to record, huh? So logically, what we're doing is if we have a bracket on one wall, we put another one directly across from it. And what you're seeing here is going to be the drywall. Let me see if I have a piece. So when we put the drywall here, imagine this is the whole panel. So it will be able to cover this entire area and exactly the same on the lower part. Well, 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 and look how wonderful. It's beautiful. You can't see anything, but you can already imagine it.
This isn't finished yet, it's just 4 pieces of metal.
But I can already imagine it, and well, 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 just some important little details. The reinforcements we've added here in the front, we've also put on the sides, reinforcements here so we can attach the plates. Let's say like this, and on top as well, the reinforcements.
This has turned out really solid, it doesn't move at all.
We're about to test the chimney since we've assembled everything, but haven't tried it on the chimney yet. Still, we're confident it will work. No, not really. When any light, even natural, hits them, they light up. Wow, that's so cool. Wow, it's incredible. Wait a moment. I'm enjoying, savoring this amazing moment. Just a moment, please. I've been waiting all morning for this moment.
All right, epic moment. Let's see if it fits. Wait, epic music.
Oh please, no, how beautiful. Oh, wow, I plug it in, right?
Let's do things right.
We'll lower the little blind and light the fireplace. Oh please, what a sight. Of course there's so much crap here that you can't close it. Look how lovely, and the glass is missing, huh? But how beautiful, it looks real. Oh, well, the red one is prettier, huh? I'll explain this to you later, but what I liked about this fireplace was that it pretended the logs were burning, so to speak. The one with the little stones isn't bad, but I think this one is the best. Yes, the one with the little stones looks more artificial to me. I don't think it looks as nice as the little logs. Well, I'm going to show you up close. Look, it really looks like the logs are burning. It's just so authentic. The thing is, it's not giving off heat right now, but one of the reasons I chose one with front heat is because there's no heating in this apartment. If we come in winter, we can turn it on and stay warm in the living room. The living room is the heart of the house as it connects the kitchen and leads to the bedrooms. So with this and an extra radiator over there, I think it was enough. I didn't have to put electric radiators here. They all use about the same energy as this one, if you're wondering how much it uses. I asked my dad to do some calculations and he said the screen uses very little energy. He told me that if you don't use the heater, it uses hardly any energy, less than a light bulb. The small screen uses very little energy.
But here, if you put your hand on it, it gets hot, you know?
Wow, it really gets hot. Now, what's the temperature right now?
83 Fahrenheit. But anyway, I don't know what it's from.
Maybe the red one is the prettiest. What was the other one?
This one, which is more like...
Well, this one is orangish. The orangish one is the most noticeable, huh? I'm just saying.
This one is very Harry Potter and is the most common.
Oh, how pretty. My grandma will freak out when she sees it. Totally ready to keep going. I could keep working on this, but I promised Ivan I wouldn't continue unless he was here since he's excited to finish it. Well, there's something else that was left unfinished, and I'm sure you remember it, and that was the trenching here. It's like a kind of guide that you place right in the corner, and well, you put the drywall paste on it and it makes the corner perfect. I've bought for upstairs and downstairs. I'm going to put this on the whole structure here and also cover up the little holes because there are quite a few little holes from the screws. I already have the first coat on this little part here. Now I just need to do that part over there. This part here is already done. I forgot about this part. I have to build the structure, not just apply putty. I actually need to make it. Okay, I already have the whole outside part up to the corner. I'm not going to use the regular tape, I'm going to use this one that has the metal profile. We've already shown it several times, I'm not sure if we showed it here in the apartment or not. And you put this in like this, facing inward, and it acts as a kind of reinforcement. And I'm going to put this like this because if you look at the wall, there are some spots where there are quite a few little holes. So if I use regular tape, the corner probably won't turn out perfect. We tried to stick it as much as possible, but we did what we could, and in some areas there are still a few little holes left. The only difference is that tape is more expensive than regular tape, but I think with the one I have here, which I already bought for something else, I'm not sure if it was for this groove or another idea I had, I think it'll work, so I'll try it. First we apply the paste, then we fold it, put it in place, and apply more paste on top. After that we sand it and apply the second coat. I don't find installing drywall difficult, but when it comes to applying the joint compound, it is a bit more complicated. It's hard to get it perfect if you're not used to it. Wow. Well, I've already been at it for quite a while, and I tried with the other tape because I ran out of this one here, and it turned out really well. Honestly, I thought it was going to be harder for me because without the metal edge, it would sink into the little hole that's there. It turned out well, so I'll keep using this tape since it's working for me. One thing I have noticed is that the best way to stick the tape is to put a few blobs of plaster paste on it. You put a few blobs, spread them out, but you leave a pretty thick amount. Because that way, when you pull it out, you can use it and cover it with the first coat. If you put a very thin layer first, it might come off from some little gaps and so on. And second, you have to put another coat on top. So by doing that, I think we move even faster. Before putting the second coat on all this molding, which will need to be sanded and so on, and then put the second coat and all that stuff. So what I'm going to do is continue with this little piece here. So I'm going to prepare the pieces of drywall that go there. I've already done some tests. I don't know if I have all the materials I need, but we'll try to make do with what we have. Okay, I have a piece over here that will work for me. I should have brought something to mark with. Thanks. Let's see now where we need to place the other guide. The angles, these are the hardest to cut. They're the toughest part. I'm already a little desperate, to be honest. I won't deny it. I have no way, so to speak, to put it nicely, to hold up this damn iron without anyone supporting it for me. It keeps falling down. I start getting nervous and, well, it's a complete mess. I have to hold it up from the other side, and when I did it with my mom, she held it here and I screwed it in from the other side. But alone, you can't hold it and screw it in and all this crap already. In the end, I'm gonna have to make a hole and put it in with the little hole, which isn't ideal, but I don't care, I don't care. It's done. I almost grabbed it and threw it out the window, but oh well, there's less and less left to do. Before we continue, let's check that the story is coming together well, because if not, the crucial moment is coming up, the final placement. Let's screw it in. Come on, if it looks good, of course. It's turning out really, really well. I got really nervous, but in the end I managed by making holes and then screwing. The only thing missing would be the small trim that goes on top, which runs along the entire ceiling. So I found some pieces of drywall and we're going to put it up now, and then we'll get lunch ready. That's why I hate sanding. Because it gets everything dirty and you can barely notice the changes, you can hardly tell. It's a job where you work yourself to death, and on top of that, to the eye, it's almost unnoticeable. I'm already tired after just one wall while talking to you. I'm taking breaks, right? But I'm sanding the ones I've already done because I'll clean them and give them a second coat. Along with this part here, which I've already glued together, and the little piece that was missing that we did earlier. When I give that one the second coat, I'll give this one the first.